Oh, little tiny one. Is it hot out here?
Yeah.
Well,
And it's
over at the Citystead, Josh put up a video that said, "My garden sucks." So I said, you know what? I'm going to make a collaboration video out of that. So this is My Garden Sucks. Basically going over what worked and what didn't on the garden this year. And one of my biggest issues, and always is, is the weather. So yeah, while we start looking at stuff.
there's corn.
There's the corn. We got a little tiny, yeah, we got little bits of the corn there. But for the most part, and I mowed most of it down already today, so it didn't grow much. Yeah, you can see, I don't know if you can see the color of it. Here's the little blue beads for the blue corn that this was supposed to be. And for some reason, I got a new one coming up right here. So who knows what that one will do this late in the season. Grapes over here were doing fine until this last little heat wave we got, and that one doesn't look too good, and it looks like something is eating it, and I can't imagine what it is. Jumping over the fence and eating the grapes. So I mean, look, it could just be the heat popping these things off, but it looks like something's eating it. Now, over here at the grilling deck, the roses are actually, even though they look pretty sparse, are doing better than they did last year. And I think that's partially to do with what I let them grow up over the porch and get more sun. Promised my sister-in-law that I would give her a plant, and I'll have to figure out somewhere down there where to get one out. But even with a little bit of extra rain we got, new growth on the raspberry bushes. But basically over here everything was just fried. There's always been an issue getting water over here. Even though I got the hose here, I just never got, I need to get a system set up here that will water regularly, because it just gets fried by the sun over here on this side. Since I'm letting this grow, it looks like even the beans here have gotten more growth, and there's some new beans. But I don't really eat beans, so maybe it's just for, you know, like the idea is like grow them to put nitrogen in the soil. So we'll see. But basically, one, I was surprised how quickly the beans grew here. But on the other side, they just grew and they got fried by the heat. Now it's gonna hit and miss over here in the side garden. Strawberry plants obviously love this garden tower, and they're doing well. Other plants, the basil finally came up, but not so much. And again, this could be a combination of the soil I used. I probably should have used a little better soil, more pot soil than garden soil, raised bed soil. And I think it's a problem. You can see how that gets off of this right here. The heat evaporates and stuff. As I mentioned before, I think I'm just going to strictly keep this to strawberry. Come the fall, when I'm going to put some better soil in, and just put the rest of the strawberries in here. The raspberries did good for the most part, but I didn't get like a ton as I was expecting. But I keep messing with them every year, and I probably should don't cut them back as much and not mess with them as much. So that's what I'm doing right now. I only cut off the tops a little bit, and that's encouraged new growth. Of course, in the beginning, we got all this heat wave when I did that, but if you can compare, it used to only be about here. Now it's way down there as far as how far these are growing out that way to the sun. All my tomato plants are not really being produced, but they're producing something. Still nothing on the blueberry plants, even though it's getting bigger. I guess the one thing that's doing well and is going as planned is this grapevine. It is connected up to here and it's going along, so I'll have grapes mixed in with the raspberries here. I think that'll work well. But I'll have to get in here in the fall, I think, and rearrange some raspberries or bring in more dirt, stuff like that. On the box, because I ended up getting a hole in the box, hasn't really worked out the way I wanted to, but the things that are in here we're doing fairly well. Unfortunately, I weed whacked this morning, so that wasn't very good. What's AP? Alright. So anyways, things are growing in here. The strawberry plant obviously loves it in here. These tomato plants are doing really well. But again, I'm having issues with just general tomato plants. They're producing the grape ones, but anything bigger than a grape-sized tomato is not producing. I got this potato thing. I'll dig out that sometime later, I guess, to see if there's any potatoes on the bottom of it. But the rhubarb never came up right here. I'm hoping maybe over the fall it will come up. This is some sort of lettuce that I didn't plant. It's probably part of the core stuff that came over. But in general, this worked somewhat like I wanted it to. But since there's a hole in it, I really can't tell. But I don't know, 50-50. Sort of works, sort of didn't. Strawberry plants in that box, doing great. Didn't get any strawberries out of them, but they survived, especially when I moved over here into the shade. And they'll be great for when I transplant them over to the garden tower, and hopefully they'll start producing. So up here in the front, I got a few good handfuls of raspberries, and look at that. Is that trying to produce some more raspberries? But it's not looking good right now. But now that we've gotten some rain, it's turning green again. So that's good. Flowers, it's always hit and miss. Our zinnias did well this year. I mean, they came up. This is our second year with them. The coral pink knockout rose, I mean, it says, hey, I might be a little rose, but I am going to try to bloom if I can. So that's very surprising. I already took off one bloom, but for a little rose I just planted this Mother's Day, he's doing well. Something's obviously eating. It's probably the rabbit eating my flowers. And of course, the biggest thing that sucks about my garden and my lawn is this mimosa plant that's everywhere. And I cut my grass today, and basically from there all the way around that section back there is just mimosa, cut it down. It's just mimosa. I mean, it's just, I have no idea what to do with this stuff. It's just horrible. It just grows everywhere. It's spreading. It used to not be under the willow tree. It's getting worse. It gets up here. I've plucked it out by the root. It still comes back. It's very annoying. Very annoying. But the garden up here, I got the sprinkler system put in. Woohoo! That was an update from last year, which I did not get the sprinkler system set up like I wanted to. However, since my tomato plants, my starts all died before I was able to put them in, the other plants, these squash, whatever they are, these miniature pumpkins, I guess, I don't know what they are, overgrew the tomato plants to start, and I think that affected the growth. I don't know. Again, all I'm getting is the cherry tomatoes types. These are blueberry tomatoes, so now I have 2 in the back and 2 up here that are growing, having tomatoes, and but that's it. I mean, this, let me say, this one's going again, so maybe some more tomatoes. Something came over here and ate this. Planted itself in the ground, so that's lovely. So the sprinkler system, got the sprinkler system up, but I think next year I'm going to have to not use the misters and use more of the ones that drip directly in, because with the humidity issues I had, it was just basically too much humidity, and I had to stop watering because it was causing other issues with the plants. So good thing it is I got it in. I just need to run different wires and different types of nozzles to do more direct into each of the holes. Still, weed issues up here. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's extremely frustrating. Extremely frustrating. All the weeds I get up here. I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another. Whoa, hey, what do we know? That is not a cherry tomato. That is a different tomato. Amazing. I need to pick these lopsided, weird shaped cucumbers. And this is what I'm gonna do. Hopefully next week I am going to pull up the cucumbers and everything. Oh, let's crack that. I'm going to pull up the cucumbers, give the tomatoes space, and then I'm going to make holes, and I'm going to plant another set of cucumbers. And I'm going to make them close enough, like put a hole right here so it's close enough so when it starts, I can make it go up the tomato plant. And hopefully by that time, the tomato plants will have gotten taller so that they can, do a little better. Basil, I should have done better on getting this, but it really didn't come up until later. This is usually my attempt to protect my other plants, but I haven't had any tomatoes. I mean, this is the first ripe cherry tomato right here. Gonna pick that one. I mean, that's all I've gotten. So they're coming now. I don't know what the heck that is. I guess it's just dying off. I don't know. So that's the plan. I'm not the only person having problems with tomatoes this year. It sounds like everybody's having trouble with tomatoes. But so every year I get along a little further. You know, I don't spend a ton of time in my garden. I would like to spend more. I would love to be like one of these homesteaders guys that, you know, that's what they do. They found a way to either make money off their YouTube videos, or, you know, they're debt free and have, you know, got plenty of money saved up, and they can spend time on their homestead, and they got enough money coming in from the homestead, the things they produce there. It's just something, you know, it's just something that, you know, like a dreaming thing, you know, is to do that. And, you know, my oldest brother, one time, he, you know, his youngest is just graduated from high school, and, you know, he told me a couple of years ago before that, you know, his idea was, well, we're gonna, you know, find some place for some land. He goes, and, you know, garden, because then he's like, you know, it's something in our system. It doesn't matter, you know, you know, as a family, we had gardens all the way until we moved down to North Carolina, and we tried to have a garden in North Carolina, but you know, we just weren't used to the heat issue, and the size. We didn't have as much weight. We went from 20 acres to, you know, a 20 by 20 square behind a townhouse, and but we've all of us have seemed to be pulled back to gardening, and so that would be a nice dream, to be able to do the homesteading, do the gardening, you know, hobby farm sort of size, which is like, you know, more than you need and a little bit you can sell, sort of stuff. That's a nice dream. But right now, I just have this little tiny plot with all sorts of issues between soil and weeds and weather that I'll try to work my best with, and hopefully next year I'll get some other, you know, moving on to another, you know, step of success in each of these things. You know, but even though I'm saying my garden sucks, I have made some successful steps for further. I just need to do some more stuff to make it even better, and you get more produce out of it, you know. And a lot of my issues is with the weather, and proper water and proper nutrients, and that's probably something I need to pay attention to more next year. But thanks for joining us. Leisurely Logan.